All right, all right, all right. Welcome. We are here, and it is time for Verithia's verdict. We have been on the tail of her. Our small crew of pirates has been searching for her. They finally found her with some amazing navigation and following some leads, and found her about to travel into Viridian territory to potentially make alliances with the vampirates that they had been chasing, or that had been being chased by the new elite of Darktoe for so long. Making a decision not to return to the island to report that the information they had about her, but rather to try to stop this before it could happen, to try to take her out, to essentially stop and make a big win. They decided to risk it all and attack. They soon found themselves a bit outmatched, realizing the depth to which she was connected to the nature. Some things they had found out was that she seemed to be connected to what she referred to as the pets and mounts of the gods, naming Ukutoa and the flaming bird. She talked of Delia Briarwood moving once again upon the worlds, and that this zone of chaos that seems to be spreading across all of Exandria, she seems to somehow have tapped into it, into the very spirit of chaos that has been among the continents, and through that, including the troubles they even have been in the Feywilds, seems to be drawing an immense amount of power. It is here. We're gonna go. So we are ready to get back into this fight, or this encounter now, as it's turned into. So where we are, we have a absolutely dead character played by Jalen. We have a dying captain, and our three people right now. So all right. So currently, yeah. The helper of Verithia, who has turned into an owlbear, looks and is going to go ahead and, I think, pretty much get near Bowden and just be ready to strike, being aware of the offer that has just been made. Which, of course, the last thing, Verithia had made an offer of peace. Like, I'm sorry, I just realized I'm playing this character entirely wrong. They don't give a crap what Verithia is saying. They want to kill somebody. I'm sorry. Brain just caught up to these people. They're fanatical. I don't think they'll be able to kill him, but they're going to try. Here we go. So with that, they're going to... they're in this owlbear form, trying to take a bite. That will miss Bowden with a 12. Then they use their claw for 26.
26. No point in shielding. I'll take it.
Okay. So that comes across your back for 18 slashing damage.
Got it.
All right. It's their turn. Nazi's down. Solar Dragon is up.
So the Solar Dragon, oh man, I guess heard Verithia's offer to spare the wounded if we all fled.
Oh, did I get my thing like accepting?
Oh, yeah.
I just realized we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't do that. Yeah, sorry.
We didn't say it. We didn't say it on live.
Ooh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
God.
We're gonna do a quick flashback,
Mhm.
where Craven can communicate to the party.
We accept your offer, Verithia. Belden, stabilize the captain. Tronis, grab Kaz. I'll collect. You changed. You blanked out your name, and I just forgot it. Anansi.
So then, I guess Stronus is just gonna climb on the back of the dragon and just whisper like to go scoop up Kaz. And
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
If that is your wish, yes.
Miss Belden's turn.
Belton scoops up whomever is living enough to recover, and maybe some of the dead. We'll see.
No, you actually have to like make the medicine check, or the captain might die.
All right, cool. That's easy.
all right.
All right.
I specifically said go stabilize him on purpose.
Got it. I'm catching up. Can I don't have inspiration from the last round. Is there any inspiration to burn so far?
There just was one sent in the chat. Take it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll take inspiration since it's advantage on medicine check. It's going to be 17.
All right, the captain is stable.
Get the hell up. Come on.
All right.
Go.
That's really good because I would have applied his natural one.
Oh,
Oh, brother. Oh,
Jesus.
Oh, God.
Once,
He rolled a natural 1 and a 2.
once Patch, Belden says, "Come on, dumbass," and just drags him away.
Oh Christ! On your broom, right?
On the broom, yes, with full movement. All of
Yeah. Sounds good. All right, and everyone is stabilized. Tronish, you're kind of making your turn.
Yeah, and I'll like if everyone's like within like
Was
60
Kaz
feet.
making saves? Because I don't remember if Kaz was making saves or not.
Don't remember. I'm gonna check Kaz's sheet.
Okay. All right,
He
so
is saves.
He is
okay,
making saves. Okay, so you got to take care of that.
Yes. If everyone's within 60 feet of Tronus, he's just gonna give out a 5th level mass cure wounds. Mass healing word.
Oh,
as
nice.
bonus. Yeah.
mass healing word, very good.
Wait, at 5th? What? If you're just trying to get people up, save your
Hey.
spell slots.
I still have slots. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this is just up enough. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have the mass cure wounds.
I do have mass cure wounds, but that's the action. I'm still just I'm gonna.
Okay.
You have the economy.
Yeah, but that's also like everyone was still kind of like spread out, and it's just in like a one spot. Mass healing
Oh,
versus
gotcha.
everyone within 60 feet of Tronus.
Okay.
So everyone who's conscious and can get hit points is getting back 13 hit points.
Good.
And then, yeah, I guess I'll just use like whatever movement and action to, like to get up on the solar dragon to then move and get everyone there and move over towards Kaz.
Okay. Good. So, with that, the island she was going to that turned out to be the young dragon turtle that's now climbing onto the big island, which is we turned out a big dragon turtle, is now up and will release a steam breath that's going to catch the 3 of you here. So that is Constitution saving throws.
So I'm sorry, it's catching the 3 of whom?
Craven, Tronus, Belden.
So
Okay.
23.
23 passes. 27 passes. Nice.
11.
That would fail. So for the fail, that will be 44 fire damage. And the pass is 22.
Jesus.
Yeah, there was some stuff they found.
Wait. What did you do with your action? If you were specifically,
I think I used my action just like
you could have just moved us into position to heal everybody within a 30-foot radius of you. We were all.
You're all like spread out. Aramin's on the other side of the field than Craven is.
Oh, okay.
I need to get everyone within 60 feet of me.
You're good,
guys.
It's still theater, but like I remember the map.
Okay, then Verithia. Look, and you see a nearby, one of the trees nearby, large. She puts her hand out, and it opens up, and you can see a different forest on the other side.
That's an effect of a spell, correct?
That was a spell.
Yeah, she's being like, get the hell away from my island.
Yeah, she say. Yeah, so she says, "There is your escape. Go. Come here again. I will kill you without a second thought." Unless you want to counter me, you can. Okay.
Options are good.
All right. Then it comes up to Craven.
So, I have Anansi's body. There's no trace of life, even if he was alive. So I've just got him over my shoulder and head through this portal.
Good.
Just being wary to make sure she didn't just drop us from the frying pan into the fire.
So is it clear where it goes, or is it not?
I mean, you just see woods, I think. I don't think you'd have a good
Right.
sense.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, I'll be wary on the other side of this portal.
Like, if you went to a city somewhere, you could, like, but I mean, this literally just looks like a forest, yeah. Yeah, so you jump on through with the body. I think. Okay, so you're flying, so you see the one that's down. The owlbear like roars and it's like it looks like they're just infuriated about what she just did. And then we basically have Bowden and Tronus.
Belden, you can go first because you're higher up in initiative.
Belden looks around, acknowledges the situation, kind of gives a weird nod to Verithia, and just zips to the portal. On the word.
I don't think the dragon's going to fit through the tree, so the Tronus will hop off the dragon, give it a little squish behind one of the ear fins, and step through the tree. And maybe make enough space if the dragon can somehow squeeze through and just like go immediately up, but like push back up and be like, no, okay. Thank you for coming, though.
Got it. Just double check. I don't think they can. Well, it wouldn't be a big enough tree anyway. She didn't pick a big enough tree for the dragon. Because it's about the size. That's with the size of the tree, not the spell.
Yeah, it's huge. So
there's not that much fertile soil on the back of a dragon turtle.
I did my research. I know.
All right. So with that, all of you are through, and you take a breath in the middle of this wood.
How is Araman looking?
He's healed. Remember,
Fully.
not
Yeah.
fully healed, but he's
at
conscious
13
because
hit points.
Tronis gave him the 13 hit points.
So, like,
So,
Well, actually, theoretically, he's out again because he would have been with you for the steam breath.
oh,
Yeah. So then I'll spare the dying.
Tronis, I check in on see. I don't think he received the healing when you shouted, but from my recollection of what the captain told to me in respect to Anansi, he said not to try to bring him back.
what does that mean exactly? Never mind. I'll go look around.
Yeah, Tronis, very high medicine modifier. With that, he'll know he's dead. Also, yeah, it was a natural one. He's dead. It's against his own wishes to not. It was his wish not to be brought back, wasn't it?
That's correct.
Bob stops and says, "Well, that's awkward. Some choice. Do you respect that or no? Do you feel like we should obey his last wishes, perhaps? Not resuscitate, maybe."
So I rolled a 10 on the d20, so it's a 19 medicine check. Would I cursory glance at because I rolled to see if I got a natural one and it didn't, just to know if he's dead. Could I discern what type of creature Anansi was? I know he was an elf, that was painfully obvious, but the number of things that he's done alluded to noted something else.
Do you mind me stepping in, Matt?
Yeah, I was going to ask you to. Yeah.
So you notice that he seems to suffer for some type of really strong curse, some curse that you don't know could be removed with a simple remove curse spell. You also notice about his body that it's almost rapidly decomposing right in front of your eyes. Everything is turning into a bloody gush, very slowly, right before your eyes.
So above table, is that any tinge of undead or anything along those lines, or was he just a weird elf dude?
Yeah, it's just a weird affliction that you're not sure. He's not undead, but he definitely seems undead.
Okay.
He has blood within him and things like that. He has a heart, right? But yeah.
And Tronis will just go on and say, I feel he would not want to be brought back. It seems his body does not want to be brought back. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to give what I feel would hopefully be a proper send-off to him.
You mean last rites, right? Do we bury him or burn him? What's his tradition?
I don't know of his tradition, but it's in the very few who I've witnessed die in my life. We'd scatter them amongst the stars, but we have no stars here, only air and trees. I can scatter him here.
I'm not holding you back. I'm just saying whatever rites seem appropriate for his tradition as you describe it, we should probably do that.
I can't speak to his tradition. It's not something that came up, but I'll begin to gather the wood for a pyre. I'm assuming you can spread him once he's ash.
Tronis is just going to raise his hand and use a combination of sacred flame and burning hands and scorching ray just to immolate him right there. In a not total destructive way, it looks more beautiful than just like ah.
Belden, without being obvious, will actually also cantrip in and push a little bit more fire into it.
I'm marking off burning hands and scorching rays.
Seeing them do that, I would go and just find some dry branches, or if I need to, like cut down a couple branches and then like a fairly flat stone, and just make like a little headstone type thing for him.
Do you guys go about this pretty quick, or how long does it take you guys to do this?
Hours.
Hours? Oh,
Hours.
okay. All right. Well, then by an hour of you guys trying to get this together, my body vanishes. And it completely decomposes into a bloody red mist, and it goes towards whoever has the boat in their pocket.
So what happened when they were first burning it? Because that's a pretty quick process.
Yeah, because the first thing he did was cast a bunch of spells to burn it.
Yeah, I burned the body.
But then what happens is like the ashes will go and they'll like pass through like just like kind of like swirl around the person who like has the boat in the body. It is.
And then what?
Nothing. You guys don't know.
So yeah, I don't know about hours because of how quick the thing was, but it would have just been me finding the stone, just carving out. Here lies a non-sea of dark toe. Just kind of leaving that.
Yeah. I'll say this: looking around here as you begin to do this, you realize you're in fact upon dark toe.
Oh,
How? Wait, we got sent to Darktown?
Saves me from using finding the path.
So,
Oh my gosh.
North Island, South Island, near the port? Where are we?
Well, you're in a forest,
we're in the forest, so
and the only place that the forest is where that unicorn is.
Well, shit. Home again. Huh.
Yeah, which might disturb you for a whole nother reason. Actually,
Yes.
it would get
Yes.
you, Belden, because you'd be able to figure out how that spell works.
She should be able to cast to this place, yes. What tree did we come out of? Or at least what's nearby?
I mean, you're within the woods.
But, like, if you're doing the tree spell, there's an entry and exit.
It's a tree.
Right, but which tree?
A tree.
I'm trying to get what information
Yeah.
you were trying to get from me. I want to give it to you. I just don't. What?
No, my words like the whole shit. What was it? It was the walk through tree spell. I think is what she was probably using.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Transport via plants. Like,
yes,
it's
exactly.
transport via
which
plants, yeah.
tree do we like
Right.
step out of? Like, there's any like special significance to this tree that we step
Right.
out
So
of?
there's got to be a
Gotcha.
significant enough tree on the sending end and the receiving end that she's actually seen herself.
Yes. The tree itself doesn't appear significant.
Okay.
So there's no markings or anything like that. You realize, I mean, there are several trees a person could fit through.
Right. So she's been here. She's seen it before. It's not important, but like this is the one she chose.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, which means she has access to here.
Okay.
well, not everybody has a sun tree that they use that spell through.
Well, not everybody has been to Darktown. They can just go back to where they want to. That's the problem.
Correct. So I guess, yeah. In your investigations, you realize it wasn't anything special necessary to get you other than this is a place she has been and
Okay.
knew to get you and could recognize easy enough. Was also to let you know as much intelligence as you all had. She knew who you were.
Oh.
There's several things you can get from that.
Cool. Oops. Outed. Well, at least from home, I guess. That's awkward, but like still relatively positive, right? Like,
If you're asking how we walked through a tree.
No, that part is obvious to me.
Mhm.
Raven.
How did she send us here?
Well, she's been here before, is the problem. Right? So this basic spell means you can connect any two trees, the one in front of you and the one you've been to before. She was on Dark Toe at some point, obviously, and close to us. Not necessarily in the city, but like the north part of the island is reasonable.
That
And
is far more trouble than we had assumed
what I
would cause.
I thought we assumed if someone was going to assault Dark Toad, they've actually been there once before, right? Like planting bombs on Dark Toad requires actually knowing Dark Toad to some degree. Altitude, elevation, distance, normal things.
I suppose that's true. I wonder if the Plank King knows any friendly druids that could go about growing new trees so that we can cut down the ones that they're familiar with.
Interesting question. I haven't known the new Plank King to terraform very much, but it's possible.
No, I don't know that either. He's just a skilled warrior, but being the political power that he's set himself up to be, he must know some. Though I don't know how much of an endeavor that would be.
Well, that's fair. I think, as best I've seen, his access to trees is mostly just paperwork.
Well, we should make our report.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do we know which direction to head to get back to?
The city's in the southwest edge, actually. And the sun's over here, so it's probably over there. We should just... Actually, let's ask a question. Are we at the northern tip of the island or midway? Because there's a little bit more to Dark Toe than is obvious. I was there for a long time as a sparrow. Are we near the city or not? What?
You can get there in a few hours.
So we're like midway through the island.
Yeah, so we're on the northern half because Dark Toe's on the southern half of the actual isle.
Correct.
Cool.
On the southern tip. So, yeah, start making our way.
I'm more than happy to leave you guys if you want to. I have a bunch of maps about this place that are pretty
Find
cool.
the path.
It might be. If you guys are close to the shore, it might be easier to swim. Or like,
Is that the ghost of Pirates Pass? Who's talking?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Fourth wall broken.
Yeah,
I'd be more than happy to guide you.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, I mean, there are paths. I would say, looking more around here, it's not too much before you come upon people who are foresting, do live. You might come across a floating skull. There's enough that.
Another one?
Oh, I'm
No,
so glad he's doing
not
well.
another one.
No, the original.
At least he's not causing too much trouble.
Right this way, yes.
But yeah, you can get there. It's not too hard to do that.
Cool. Before we leave the original origin spot, Bellman, as a cartographer, would like to at least draw all the ins and outs of the location of the trees and the exact spot he got transported into, and mark in his own maps as like a curious sort of the spot.
Yeah.
Before we head down south to the city.
Yeah, there's enough marking to possibly try to get back.
Cool. Right this way, left vine, right tree, third rock on the left, and here we are.
All right. What would you like to do? Because this is really up to y'all.
So this is the first time in months we've been back in Dark Toe, right?
Yeah.
We're unexpected. We're not supposed to be here. We're supposed to be in the Southeast Seas.
We did give them a sending a couple hours ago, letting them know what we were doing.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I should probably tell them we're home. We're back.
We can do that in person.
I'm not exactly well known here. I changed my face a bit. Which of you, Travis, you're probably the most respectable of the lot of us to announce our presence, right? No, Craven, no.
I take offense of that being the first mate of this crew.
Oh, no, I was more saying like amongst the options we have, because Captain Airman's still a little bit
He's
the
the
back
first
room.
mate. I'm a
What?
navigator.
I was saying like
I
one of
didn't
us has
know
to
there
the
was.
crew, and the captain's not so well right now.
There was a reason I was paired to Airman. It was to
Okay,
help
all right.
balance him out.
Well, it's all your show now.
So yeah, be making our way to the roost.
Okay. Sounds good. That's easy enough. I think greeted a few puzzled looks, but you still have your badge and things that would identify you to get access. And in that case, you can give your reports to your characters.
So if it's the PK and Cassandra that's there, is that who we're like brought in to see?
I mean,
It would
you're
probably
busy.
be initially the debrief would happen to Jajal.
Okay.
Would be the first one, and then Jajal would likely take that information to everybody else. That is the way it goes.
Gotcha.
The
Okay.
less people who know precisely who you are, the better. So everything pretty much would go to Jajal, and then Jajal would give that information. There.
All right. I know you received, Master Jajal. I know you received word not too long ago from us stating that we were going to do our best to cut the head from the snake, but after we engaging with Verithia, we soon came to realize that she is as if a god compared to us, summoning elemental beasts at a whim to merely distract, and unfortunately we did not come away unscathed. The Nancy has passed, though something strange happened with his body after Tronis and Belden immolated it. It seemed to swirl to a mist, and I believe may have gone back to the ship, which I'll present at this point. There is crew still upon this, so and I'll write down the password so as not to summon the boat here. This is the password to the boat, as we were also sent to retrieve this ship.
There are a handful of new crew members who we picked up on this lady island.
As well as a beholderkin named Ramane.
In Overmind.
He willingly joined our crew after we saved him from the lady's island. I don't know what powers Verithia was tapping into, but it was far past anything that we could handle, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, actually, let's do this just that way we can get a little RP going. Jalen, yeah, why don't you play Thola, getting the information and asking any questions or whatever? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So let's do that. We can get a scene a little bit more than a monologue. So they said this, so you can continue, but Thola can respond as she needs.
Yes.
Well, I hope the one you lost does meet the lady's embrace, but this Verithia, she seems to be the one in charge then for the druids. Maybe
Correct.
we need to get some better, morally sound druids to help us out with this problem. I think that's the more that we learn about their weaknesses, I unfortunately have not spent too much time with them, and every time we seem to encounter paths, it's like they have the leg up on us.
She was also the one to teleport us back here. I don't know if it's feasible to uproot the trees large enough for her spells and find new ones or regrow new thick trees for our use. But that would be my suggestion based on what Belden explained to me.
Yeah, Lady Athola, I've marked the trees if you're interested. I feel like they're not less safe, but obviously Berthia has been here on the island at some point. So she has the flesh knowledge, the conception of where these trees are, which trees there are. We can't know currently which trees she remembers. So I feel like uprooting trees randomly is a terrible idea. My point's only, your worship. It's entirely up to you.
Oh, please, Belden, you can give more respect to yourself than calling me your worship. But I do see the problem there. And I wonder why we even have that unicorn there in the first place. But it could have been that she's been here way before that, which
But
makes me interested.
We also can't destroy the forest, right? Like we depend upon, rely upon the northern 2/3 of Darktoe to be proper nature and forest. So
Well, yes, of course. And we wouldn't
we can't draw lines.
I agree. We wouldn't just uproot trees. I mean, it's not in our nature. But I think that, like I said, if we employ druids, maybe they can make that job easier, and tearing down and bringing in new trees. But I digress, and I need to get back to Verithia herself. She seems very interesting. Do we know where she comes from?
Hi. I believe we learned that she trained with someone who trained with a group known as the Shari.
She trained with Halamundel, who trained with the Voice of the Tempest.
No, so maybe we should reach out to them and learn more about her nature. And maybe we could get some insight into her weaknesses.
Hell yeah, Thola can actually send a sending to Keyleth. We met her.
School Tuesdays.
Yeah, sure can.
She gave us a dope-ass bench, too, to make magic items.
Oh, yeah? Well, Keyleth almost blew up Lakash.
Incidentally, we can do it this session, but just keep in mind, I guess you guys, I would give you guys you have an equivalent of a treasure point to spend, as well as you'll be able to do downtown actions. We don't need to resolve that now, but you can be thinking of them, since my guess is we're transitioning to something here, but so you're back on the island from doing your voyage, and you completed the task, actually, which was to investigate the lady's island. You freed it. You went and got information on the goings-on and general location of Verithia. So you did all the things you set out to do.
It took us how long to do the level 5s? We did the 11s in like 5 sessions.
That was a little bit by design, because we didn't like that about level 5s, if you remember.
Oh, fair.
We were like, got a little foggy. And
much
so I streamlined. I approached very differently this one.
Yeah, this was good.
We did the assignment, we just didn't finish the extra credit.
True.
Yeah, you actually like did the thing. It just,
Yeah.
Is it my assumption, Lady Thola, that we are to continue upon the Invisible Stalker as its primary crew?
That is my assumption, unless Jajal has a different idea, but I think it would get the best use under you all. And Armin seems quite useful.
He is a good leader.
Disregard the mustache that we drew on his face, on top of his own mustache.
I thought you guys were like maybe left on bed or he got sick or something. Like not that he's here sleeping.
I imagine like we brought him into the room. He's just like Weekend at Bernie's, like slumped in the chair, still unconscious, just like kind of posed.
Oh,
He
Christ.
must have had a really tough fight for you to allow him to rest like this.
He earned it.
Fair enough. Well, yes, I think you should continue, and I think that looking into the weaknesses of our enemies should be one of our top priorities.
I find that druids are going to be an issue, at least for myself. I don't know. I can't speak to the rest of the crew. If their ability to shape change, having to kill them both in their bestial forms and then again, and I don't even know how many times that ability is available to them. We may need to try and discover some way to negate that, or
It's
something
possible
to that
that
effect.
we could look into mass producing, and I guess I could work with some wizards on getting us some moonbeam spells that could make it hard for the shape changers.
I think more to Craven's point. Typically, it spells as your form, and
Your mic's
Will, yeah, Will,
Yeah.
we didn't get any of that. Your mic went blue.
fucking fuckstick. No,
I hear you. I heard the now.
It's still like it still feels like you're just in the next room.
Christ, Mark.
With the
Yeah.
microphone.
on.
Where'd you go?
okay. Just in the next room with a megaphone. Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Like how White Claw tastes. Flavors just in the next room. It's like shouting.
I've never had, but I can imagine. It's just like regular seltzer, just alcoholic.
Basically.
That hint O flavor.
Yeah. It's like you're being whispered the flavor.
Oh, Christ.
Here will let him redo his thing here.
Cronus will kind of like move a little bit. Cronus has been like halfway like between like the back of the room and like behind Craven, so like he kind of like steps like one step forward closer to Craven, like if you'd like help, assistance on learning more about the druids, I can always lend my clerical abilities.
With as responsive as your god is, I think you could possibly help with the tree issue.
I will definitely.
Responsive. Does
Yes.
Tronus' god talk to him often?
Twice
Oh.
now, Tronus has called forth, and twice has been answered.
Celestia and I are best friends.
That is impressive.
He brought forth a dragon of which I've never even heard of before.
A solar dragon, yes. They live in suns.
Ah, I've seen many things, but I've never seen a dragon of the sun before. Tell me, was it hot?
I haven't been inside of a sun, but being near the dragon, like when the gate opened, yes, it was very hot.
It should be.
Well, that must have been a sight to see. I'm a little jealous. What to say? Do you think at the Belden, and maybe with the work of some scholars, that you guys can produce some moonbeam spells and maybe meet out with these other druids?
It's conceivable.
Well, then I think that is an investment worth looking into.
Okay, that's actually kind of cool. I've never had to fight druids en masse. I didn't realize that one of their own spells could potentially be used against them like that. Assuming they fail the save, which is the more difficult of the.
But they always get it at disadvantage, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Well, what's that?
Moonbeam.
Oh
Because
yeah.
wild shape is shape changing, so they would get if you use it on druid.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
disadvantage on the save, and if they fail, they instantly revert to its original form. And
I don't think they're considered a shape changer though.
Oh shoot!
Technically, yeah. Matt's right on they just assume the shape of it. They're not classified as a shape changer because they don't have that tag on them.
Well, see, the thing is, a cool thing about spells is if you're really good at them, you can customize them and tweak them, like turning, I don't know, human spells into demon-killing spells.
Yes. So if you wanted to spend some time and maybe a quest or something, we could probably. In other words, yeah, there's an avenue you could go down with that way potentially. Like you could potentially try to research that.
Unless Matt finds it reasonable that since you can no longer use the humanoid-based spells on them while they're shape changed, that perhaps Moonbeam would consider them as a shape changer for this aspect of it.
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
But there's not a druid among us. We still have to do work to get these moonbeams.
We just need to find a cleric that loves.
You can't rule lawyer your way out of a quest line.
But we've tried. We've tried.
You could try. I appreciate the hustle.
We would need to make friends with the druid or search out the clerics of Salune, and she's been quite gracious of the last few years, if you don't recall.
Wait, we just learned that Moonbeam's not going to cut it. Why do we need the druids?
Well, because we still need to learn about it and then tweak it.
We need to know about druids.
Yeah, we still need to learn. And it's
in other words, the
arcane
logic
design.
is sound. You could go down that path.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a path you could go through. You could find other druids. You could begin to see what you could do.
Yeah.
I think that's the point. Is that's a sound thing. What I was just trying to say is it's not an instant. Oh, let's just grab a scroll and we're good to go.
Well, it still wouldn't have been that easy because it's only a 10-foot circle that they could literally just step out of.
Yeah, you can move it.
Well,
As an action, who wants to do that?
Well,
Okay, continue your freaking
this guy.
this guy.
Comment on Facebook around this guy.
Okay, so we've been told that we're gonna keep or continue manning the invisible stalker. Did we have anything else to say to the top brass? We already mentioned the trees and that she has been here before and so has access. And so if it's a feasible thing, uproot all the big trees, send them elsewhere, and then bring in new trees, and maybe some plant growth action can get us new big trees. Or
we should probably mention that there are at least 3 dragon turtles surrounding her island.
Oh yeah.
Sola, one thing that you do know is you have a massive library.
Oh yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Of specifically a lot of tomes on blood magic.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, so, another thing that I would speak to your friend, the keeper of doors. He has access to special books that could also lend some help with the
World's greatest librarian.
with certain research. We might be able to take something else into our advantage. But
That's not under yours, Sola?
it's under the temple. It's under the temple. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I just don't spend. He spends a lot of time under. I spend a lot of time on.
Yeah.
top.
Gotcha. Okay,
Things
cool.
Man.
I'm good.
just
I just
the
kind of
librarian.
get it. We're good.
So, but yes, if you can of course catch me in the temple, but he spends a lot of time down there. Is way more familiar where to find the books than I.
Mr. Stolla, if you don't mind, I have a bunch of maps I've actually drawn and copied. I have multiple copies. Maybe one should be yours. To the temple or at least the library of the things we've seen so far. Because I sometimes I get bored in the middle of the night and I fly around as a sparrow and I draw things later. But like, you probably want these maps if you don't mind. Would you mind taking a copy of these maps? Because it's a bunch
She-
of things that are not obviously on your current plots.
All right, and she looks at the maps. And she looks over them a little bit, each by each, maybe a few seconds, and she hands them back over to you. Very well, I'll work with our cartographer, and we'll get the copy done right away.
That's fine, but like these actual like islands move. That's the problem I'm trying to explain to you is they drift sometimes.
Ah,
So this is like the last known position, but it's not the future position.
all right, well, maybe we'll have to send some overseer and somebody that can observe from above to maybe triangulate what path they stay on.
Fine. I'll just leave you a copy.
No. You don't understand. I've remembered everything you have seen on these maps. We'll get the copy done.
Okay. Also, I have Kaz pull out the very specific tomes that we took from the storeroom. The leather-bound book with silver and iron lock and clasp. The bronze hand, the skeletal bronze hand,
There's one
clasp
more.
and lock, and with the skin cover. I wrote this funny. I put a third tome, a codex, has a black fur around it, including 3 gray tails around the clasp, which has a draconic visage, to see if she's familiar at all with any of this, or because I don't think we were able to identify it as anything in particular, and we haven't tried, like, if it's cursed, we didn't have time to check them.
This doesn't sound too familiar to me, but do you guys tell me about like all the travels?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll
Like-
give you the full.
So about like meeting the water shari and stuff like that.
Yep.
No,
Probably more brief about that because that was less mission relevant. But yeah,
do you think that group down there? Do you think they have any power to help us in our cause? Are they worth the allying to?
Belden, you interacted with them most.
Well,
what are your thoughts?
they're awfully damn close to your enemy, and they have certain geographic advantages, which I'd probably take advantage of if I was just choosing for myself. But all in all, I feel like all the neutrals in that particular zone are options or possibilities. They're not deeply aligned with Verithia or her ilk. And I feel like every one of those civilizations or islands that isn't hers is an option to turn against because they've been dominated or at least felt her wrath in some way. They're ripe to be converted to a different point of view.
Well, I think either we see them as an opportunity to make an alliance, or they will be an opportunity for the Druids or the Ruidians to feast upon.
Which is to say, better to find new allies than find new enemies, right?
That is very well said, Belden. Yes, I agree.
I also think, without being caustic about it, buying them might be cheap. They need relatively few resources or supplies to be successful. And they want for very few things. So any commerce or transit we provide would be extremely helpful to them because they're used to having only themselves and the druids.
You described their boats. While they do seem sturdy, they definitely aren't great for open sea water. We could always trade boats since they seem to place a value over goods and material things than gold itself.
Another note from the Lady's Island. She was tracking your lineage along with the names Pyro, the Plank King, and a majority of the council members. Kaz did destroy one particular page, but there was something along the lines of Tonk having gone missing, a timeline being rewritten, and countless scrolls and codices with what we believe to be prophecies written upon them. It was far too heavy to transport them all, but from our understanding, the druids have started to, or we left before seeing because their plan was to overgrow that island.
So you're telling me that information is still possibly on that island?
Yes.
It's information that me and Mal are aware of, but that's not all of the council members. That is new information. And Pyro, I suspected he was different, but
The only council member that wasn't mentioned was the doorman
oh,
in those notes.
wow, that is something else entirely, and then new timelines. We should definitely look into getting this. And it seems like every obstacle that's in our way is presented by druids. And I think it is prudent if we reach out to some good ones. But first, I would go to the library, and I will see if we can start working on maybe delegates to go recruit people from the Shatter Thieves and avoid Verithia and their crew entirely.
So, do you intend to avoid the entire Isle of Night or something else?
No, my boy, that's something I would have to just prepare the island for our departure. That's something I would like to take care of myself.
So they've assaulted, and I'll call myself a native son. I wasn't born here, but I spent a lot of time here. As a member of Dark Toe, we've been assaulted by the vampires. What if they times them? And they have their own islands, and now Britain's linking up with them and trying to not just forge alliances, but being reinforced. When does this come to a head? I'm not asking for answers exactly, but just like direction. Mr. Solo, when does this come together? Like when does Dark Toe and the vampires, or at least the Isle of Night, come to a head?
Well, Belden, this is why we have you.
Well,
we
shit.
need you to gather information of weakening our opposition, whether it is the weaknesses of the druids or the weaknesses of the vampires ourselves. Hopefully, what you say is true, Craven, and if the lady refuses Anansi's soul, he's been tortured by, I believe, these Ruidians before. Maybe he could lead us on a path of where he's been. But still, it's all about finding weaknesses for our opposition and then attacking them. They've been doing the same for us. They've under our noses while we're trying to save the world. They've been finding what would get at us quickly and what would work against us the best. And we need to do the same. We need to be more proactive and offensive.
I don't like your answer, but I understand it.
Well, I'm glad that comprehension is at least one of your skills.
Among the few.
Now, I know that it might take some time, but do seek out the doorman. There might be some words of blood magic and things, and I said if it is true, maybe Nancy, you would be interested.
If there's nothing further, I will release the invisible stalker into the harbor to retrieve the rest of our crew.
Very well, they all deserve a break. I'm pretty sure being in that stasis is not pleasant. And if Mal comes back with me on anything, we'll be sure to beckon you quickly.
I guess I'm off to meet the doorman.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Very good. It's so funny because all of you are the people who run this island.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I got it.
You gotta meet the doorman. Keeper of tomes and thresholds.
All right. So in that case,
Thresholds.
is just Belden going to meet the doorman,
If
or is
it's-
everyone going? It's
if
fine.
it's that we can like release the crew, let them off board
Yeah.
if they want.
Well, we
and
can
then
do
go
that.
to that, then, yeah.
Anything special when they release the crew, Jalen?
So when they finally put the crew on, or the boat on the ship, or on the water in the dock, after some time, you see like smoke below the deck as it opens, and you see Anansi stumble out with a cigarette. That is not comfortable.
I burned your body.
Oh, I'm glad to see that this curse doesn't really give a shit whether my body's in great states or not.
You said curse?
Well, I had an inkling that this was going to happen. I've been told that I am not allowed to see the lady again. But the person who also told me that was very vindictive, and they tortured me for my life until their partner decided that their cruel and sadistic torture was no longer a thing that they could just stand by idly and watch. And so they let me go.
In soul and spirit and flesh, how does that work?
Well, I've been through the work that they have done in taking my blood out of me and inside me and doing experimentations on my blood and adding different things. Something more than just my connection to blood manifested. My connection to the life force, which is found within your beating veins, almost fuels my fate. I've been told I am bound to do either great or reckless things. I don't know yet, but I do know that all I want from the bottom of my desires is to destroy the vampires that tortured me since as long as I can remember.
Well, I guess short answer is welcome back. And I think your quest is well deserved.
I guess the job isn't done yet then.
There are still vampires, yes.
And Verithia.
And she's a part of this?
We ran, yes. She's very much still up and with them, the vampirates.
It's a cognate, never mind.
Well,
Okay.
that It's unfortunate, but you guys did the best decision. I would have hated to be the only one on this crew left.
I don't know if you missed it, but I summoned a dragon.
Oh,
He's
I
gone now.
think I heard a roar in heat before being pummeled by what smelled like a watery reptile. Did I get crumbled by a dragon turtle?
Yes.
I thought it was the owl bear.
No, the dragon turtle is the one that got him.
Ah,
Well, that was unpleasant. Look at that, though. I mean, I only have the scars, and I should pull up my sleeves. I only have the scars from my experimentations, none from the death itself. Isn't that funny? It's like I'm not able to forget, yet I wish that death was only sweeter.
From a clinical perspective, yes, you should have those wounds, but you don't. That's very curious.
Indeed, Belden. But I'm sure that there's a task that we were given. What's the word?
we have to talk to a man of doors.
Ah, yeah, I've heard of him. Resides and spends most of his time either in a plane behind a door or under the temple. At least that's what I've heard.
Shall we go visit this dorm?
Yeah, let's do it.
So to the temple of Thola. I mean, Thola's temple. Right, there we go. With the intent to find the library and the doorman, the man of doors.
Yep. It's in the crypt.
Basement.
Yes. Because when we arrived, all the bodies were gone. So why not just fill in the books?
Yeah.
All right. So, Jane, why don't you describe this temple that you constructed? Because you did it with Thola did it with her magic.
Yeah. So, in remembering how I described it, it is a temple that is made with like obsidian floors, and you see like dark granites. But there's a lot of windows and stained glass scenery that illuminates the place more so than it seems like this, it just doesn't absorb light. It almost allows it to flourish.
Nice.
With even the dark of the stones and stuff like that, you kind of see just the multicolors within these stones and things like that. It's kind of a lot of depth. But yeah, that is what you see.
Yeah, cool. So then, making your way through the crypt, you see where massive amounts of books have been stored. And there is just I'd say a realm from the books. Belden, you feel there's almost a magical aura that just suffuses the place coming from the books themselves. Just powerful tones. And how do they find the doorman?
So the figure known as the doorman, currently is just, I guess, kind of behind, at either just a table or behind a desk, just flipping through. He's got multiple stacks of books around him, and he's just flipping through one book, making a couple notes. Occasionally, just looking in the corner where you see, on, it looks just like a chair placed in the corner with a cushion on it, but books set around it to look like a throne, just a green dragon egg just over there, and just constantly going back to his books. Probably the one dark elf on Dark Toe.
As Belden stumbles in again, like Belden's gait is odd because he's got one higher hip and one lower hip, and he just like ambles and moves in sort of an awkward way, slow and plodding, but not like uncoordinated. And again, his robe and cowl are off. He's his normal like disgusting, probably smelly like warped self, stumbling into the library, sniffs around and says, "This place has the right smell to it. It has the right oh God, what's the word for books in the right state of decay? It's got an ambiance. Wrong word. What's it's got a certain it's kind of a hominess to it. I'm sorry. Is this your library?
Sure, I guess. Is it my library? I think. Hi, Belden. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am in fact Belden the Broken, as they call me. Usually the tavern, but not always.
Hi.
Some friends behind me as well, but it's a pleasure to meet you.
And you too. What? Didn't know you're back. Jonas
No,
messaged me like
it's normal.
3 hours ago. How are you back so fast?
Well, I mean, fundamentally, transport across planes. I don't remember this still. Yeah. It's unfortunate. We're not intended to be here, but we are suddenly here through powers not entirely our own.
I was wondering how that happened.
So we have some studying to do because we got basically our asses handed to us last time.
Okay. Xandor just kind of like step around the desk and be like out in the open. What can I help you find? How can I help? I guess.
Let me trade you actually. The thing we want actually, the thing I want in particular is spells or at least words or possibly methods by which we might defend ourselves against various sorts of druid things or rituals. But I also trade you every experience we've had from the last 6 months to now. Every spell we've seen, every effect we've seen, from my memory at least, for what we've gone up against in the last number of months. I feel like this is a fair trade, perhaps. We need more understanding power, or at least investment from this temple, perhaps, to be able to go up against Verithia again. But I can tell you what she's done.
Yeah. Tell me. Yeah. Let's do your part first.
Sure.
So just fast exposition.
Right.
Um,
So Belden lays out every single spell he's seen, every detail, every little piece and parchment, including like maps, drawings, whatever he has for the entirety of the world he's recorded since he joined the boat, and lays them all out, either in paper form or maps or likewise. Not exact memory, pretty close, for everything he's seen since day one, including every counterspell, every possible opportunity, and like every random thought he's had since we began this journey.
Okay. Interesting. So, about I imagine like there are notes on like because we saw Verithia kind of like suffuse her druids with the same sort of power that she has and like she's gained. I feel like someone already made a check about that, but does that sound like any? Does there sound like any source of magic that Xandor has possibly researched in his time, whether in the dynasty or here or wherever? Like Verithia's ability to like whatever like power Verithia holds to like supercharge itself.
Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't have had access. Yeah, none through Shorhusk. They don't specialize in that. But you can go ahead and give me a history for your time in the library here.
History, okay. That was kind of... All right, that's going to be a 24.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, yeah. For 24, there's a section here that you haven't read a lot on, but it's one of those things of when you feel like you can indulge yourself, you go to, because it's hard to imagine has an overall bearing on a lot of the problems and things you're going on currently. But because it seems to be a section that's entirely from another world. It was not written by people upon Exandria. It's like books were brought here from that place. It's referred to ultimately as origin. Within those, that a little bit you've been able to transcribe and figure out is that place specifically seemed to have magics and ways and stories that they talked about being able to connect to concepts as opposed to deities to gain power. And a specialization of that place was the use of belief to create beings of power. And then being able to draw from that back. So with what you heard from your report, this sounds very similar to this idea of chaos, the idea of things going insane, enough people feeling like there is absolute chaos could cause one who is aware of this to be able to tune into it if they knew of these things. That's at least what it's like. That you're saying, if you ever heard anything, that's the closest. Whether somehow this is related or is a relationship where you know, but that is one tome you would have found that bears any resemblance to being able to draw power this way.
So in like his own like nerd way, he starts bouncing between like bookshelf by bookshelf, like pulling books, checking pages. Nope, not that one. Not this one. Pulls this one tome off, flips through, and walks back over to his table and puts it down on the page or collection of pages where he's read this information. Just lays out for Melvin to read and like interprets what was just exposed to us all.
Curious, very curious.
Very.
What does it mean, though?
I guess my personal interpretation is if one person could get, or if a collective of people could get a larger group to believe in this one concept, like if this chaos, if there's enough about it, if there's enough like belief in this hysteria, then the person or peoples who are in the know and are I guess not like first like connected to it, they further attune and gain more power that way, which feels more like what Verithia has done to overcharge herself.
Right, it's like the base concept of a cult, right? If enough people believe in you, with the idea, it charges it in such a way that it has more power than it should normally have.
Yeah. Yeah.
If she's built such a thing, if she has such a large following, or at least a massive number of people who believe the same thing, and if your theory is correct, that's an immense amount of power to be harvested. Do you think it's real? Is it possible?
I mean, don't the fish people, Kuatoa, like believe in something and it manifests? Could be something similar.
I mean, we've seen. We live in a world where I'm a wizard. We're wizards. We bend reality to create fire and bend space around ourselves. Um, it's not too far of a stretch to say this could be possible, but it takes like a lot of power to be able to put a dent in a crack into this. It's been done. Hopefully, by just one person.
Well,
But
it also it requires a softer substrate, right? So there must be some softness in the lands, the coast that Uk'otoa could take advantage, right? He doesn't come from nowhere. Or to the same effect, what's the stupid flaming bird's name? I forget. There must be
Deseret,
some Deseret. Yeah, there's the one.
books,
He
Protestant,
he
all
has he has to have some clutch, some wrong word. Has to have some grip on power locally. People believe in him to make Deseret free again, or at least in power. Like maybe your cult theory is not wrong. Maybe it's local and strong enough that it works.
so then it would mean potentially, without use of other insane, powerful more magics than we have already at our disposal, then I guess a part of it could be dissuading the further group of followers away from their
Joining,
leader.
yes.
Like,
Or killing the symbol itself, right? So Deseret is not the eternal god. Deseret's a symbol, at least according to my books. So if you could kill Deseret in this plane or currently, all those cult members would probably lose faith and say, wasn't worth it. Let's try again somewhere else, right? But like, that's a tall fucking order.
yeah, that is particularly because since, at least to my knowledge and to the stories I read, heard growing up, like at least with Days Right Lucatoa, they're sealed away. They're already technically here, but technically not here.
Partially sealed. They're not fully sealed. They have influence. They can't be here, but they can't
Even-
not be here. They're
Even the
in
betrayer
the-
gods have their influence here, as little as it actually is, between prime deities, betrayer gods, the Lux, and all those things. Like they do have some
Let's
influence.
be clear. Uk'otoa still has influence. Deseret still has influence. Plenty of things have influence here. Whether or not they're actually manifesting. I guess the broad question for me is, to my mind, maybe, and again, I'm just a student, I suppose. Verithia is a student of Uk'otoa and wants to unleash that problem. Others want to unleash Deseret. Timing is awkward. This is all coming to a head at the same time. Dark Toe, in particular, has been assaulted on multiple fronts, multiple times in the last 2 years.
Can't forget the illicit thing off the coast.
Right.
Everything that happened in the dynasty, the Deadlands.
The Deadlands are doing a problem, perhaps. What's the next step? What's the next domino to fall? And again, I apologize. I'm coming to you from askance on a boat, asking awkward questions about things you probably don't know, but just
Hey, I've been itching for intellectual conversation. I just have books and a dragon egg to talk to, and like, yeah, the council meetings are, council meetings are. I'm still shocked that I'm on the council somehow, but like, other than the rest of the council, I had like an egg, books, and like the little sprites floating around in my mansion to talk to. This is nice. But I get what you mean. It all feels coincidental. It all feels like,
What is it leading to?
Don't.
As I understand it, there were a bunch of problems that built to a head before the old Plank King got removed. And the new leadership showed up. It wasn't small. It was like this problem, that problem, this problem, that problem. And suddenly there's a huge fight with vampires and the old Plank King, Wyatt, what's his nuts, defend themselves from the incoming regime. Yes, there we go. That transition happened rapidly, but it's a long time building. So I guess my question is, what are we building towards now? We have vampires, we have druids, we have Druidians in general. I don't see the plot. I don't see the connections.
chaos.
I guess when it came to this library, I was hoping for like a more clear view on how it all fits.
Well, I think there's more magics on blood that maybe could help us. Is what she
Soul,
said.
right?
And also,
Which of your characters talking, Jalen?
oh no, Dola didn't go. Oh yeah, let me change that. But,
Yeah, we just need to know. We're like,
yeah, Dola's. She said go good luck, and she went to go do her own thing. But we should look into those books as well, and maybe it is connected, and whether it is or it isn't, Belden, I think we need to focus on one thing because we can't all solve it at once.
I think at least the things that have been happening around Darktoe, like everything that we've been involved with, like the Druids, the Ruidians, the our people in Nicodranas with like that League of Miracles, and like everything with Ukatoa and Days Right. I think it's all just building more and more of just more chaos to deal with. This could either be a smokescreen, a distraction, or it could just be generating more stuff for like if like Verithia is the head of like this Ukatoa cult, and maybe there's someone in charge of like this Deseret cult. Those figureheads could draw in more power to become more powerful with this origin thread.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Don't the betrayer gods and all the gods kind of have if they don't want these Deseret or Ukatoa out, there's a reason they lock them away.
I'm not the most like religiously knowledgeable person, but of the history of the world, I believe it's just the gods themselves were separated. There were demigods that were imprisoned and locked away. At least for the betrayal gods that were locked away, and then I don't know what of like if they're demigods on the prime side, if they're just up with them in their planes. I don't know. It's not really my forte.
yeah. So the general thing you know is like demigod type creatures were not locked behind divine gates. Anything that are sealed were sealed by essentially mortals or others. Because people made a move to do that.
So since Verithia and all of her people are working to free Ukatoa, and then there's other people working for Deseret, then there's got to be. This is hopefully it doesn't get to this point, but it's worth researching a way to reseal, a way to keep them sealed because they seem sealed by mortal means.
Well, I apologize, Master Zaynor. Is it possible there's a counterbalancing force?
Oh yes, I think so. I think the lady was
Could
looking into that.
Chaos.
could we be that kind of rousing force? Perhaps is that possible?
I think I think we need to look into those bloodlines. I mean, there's a reason she was trying to hoard that power. Maybe the inverse could be the same if people with strong bloodlines got together to believe in one thing, they could do something similar. I'm not sure how that works, but blood is very powerful and it manifests as more than just, I guess, life. There's a reason your blood pumps faster when you're afraid, but also when you're loving someone deeply, and also when you're angry. And also when I look at Belden looking at me like that.
My blood is what's called impure.
It's it makes for a good story always, Belden. Don't forget that.
Was there anything else I could help with?
Well, could you find any more books on this blood magic?
Yeah, I could keep poking through the library. I could try to find other places that could potentially have leads to sources to find it. Ancient tomes. And this is gesturing to the section I pulled the origins from. It's old. It's weird. It's not really from here. So that's something that I and us higher ups here have to look into. I guess it's.
Does anybody have legend lore?
I'm sure I figured it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
All this talk of God's mounts and the like is far above anything that I've ever had to deal with. In regards to anything you can help with, Master Zane Lore, any ritual spells that you know that you'd be willing to share with me, I'd be more than happy to take, as I find having them has been quite useful throughout my career. Or within the library.
Let me take a look at all my stuff. What level of magic can you cast up to?
I can do any level of ritual.
Okay.
I'm sending you the screenshot of my thing of what I already know, so that way you don't sit there just
Gotcha.
telling me what I know. And then Matt, if he's found new ones in the library of wizard rituals.
Okay.
So, given some time, Zanelor will just pour into his spell book and let me pull some up. No, that can't be ritual.
And that doesn't have to be a right this moment thing. It's just that would be
Yeah.
a request made if we're continuing this path with the 11s.
Yeah, be
there's
here
only
for a day or two.
I've only got one. Or no, I think I have two. Nope, just one. We'll just pull up the ritual instructions for Mordecai's private sanctum.
Oh, nice. The doorman's door.
Nope, that's Magnificent Mansion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Another
true.
Yeah, it's a little different.
That'd be OP if that was a ritual spell.
Oh yeah.
That would have to have like a very expensive
Oh yeah.
consumable component if that spell was a ritual.
Right.
Or if there's any other spells within the library or spell scrolls or anything, I doubt there because it's all just books and tomes. The only one that Zanelor has that Craven doesn't already have is Private Sanctum.
Gotcha.
I may come bother you for some late night duty later.
And does the what spell list? Is it any ritual? Or does it have to be from a spell list?
From the wizard spell list.
Has to be from wizard. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone can talk to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zanor, it doesn't have to happen today. But if you do find those tomes, just maybe have a runner send them to the boat.
Yeah, right. I could easy enough send one of you guys a message saying, "Hey, I got this." Yeah, I'll let you guys know.
Good.
Zanor is Shadowkai too, right?
Xandlar's just dark elf.
Oh, he's just a dark elf. Okay, yeah, it's Will's. Yeah, never mind.
Correct. As we're leaving, Belden will offer the deepest possible bow and say, Zane Lord, Dinnerwill, keeper of tomes and thresholds, we are very much in your debt.
I look over to Belden. Why do you do that?
One, formality, and two, I like the welcome mat being up front.
Hey, I'm all for like just sharing of knowledge. Like you don't, I never know how to like receive a bow or like
You just bow back. It's easy. I'm short. It's not the same, but it's close enough.
yeah. And Xander just like half bow, not knowing, just awkward. Yeah. And so if you guys find anything out there that I don't know, anything magic that you can't really handle or want or
We will call upon you for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
When the time comes. And thank you.
Yeah, we might be trying to switch around how Moonbeam operates soon.
That's
Pretty advanced. Yeah, okay.
It's an idea.
When you figure out actually how that, never mind.
that is
We'll
an
talk.
idea. Yeah, we'll talk. And Xander's just gonna go back behind his desk and just open like a clean page and like a notebook and start writing, just scribbling notes and like, can you change Moonbeam? How would that look? How would that work? Can I do that? And just like wall down like into the book.
Okay.
So,
So where
post-library.
next, folks?
Let's say post library.
I'm gonna go bathroom.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do a break, I guess.
All right.
here. All right, got everybody?
Yep.
All right.
They built this city.
Cool. Okay.
We built this shitty.
Well, where are you off to?
Well, I think in the meantime, Dolo would have definitely reached out to Keyleth and Ashari just to see if we could send, if we're good to send them over to learn and, about the Druid ways, maybe learn about Verithia more and seeing if we can pick up some weaknesses to use against their evil counterparts. And then check back. Then Anansi would plan to check back later to see if there's any of those blood tomes that Dola had mentioned. And that's pretty much it. Oh, except that I was planning.
Okay. Okay, let me do this a bit because I got the first one. So you send the sending there to get permission. Which, yeah, let me to that here. So it was with the Windashari too. Okay, yeah. So yes, she responds that should you send a contingent, she would be happy to receive them diplomatically. She adds that chaos is raging through the elemental planes. Verithia has caused more damage than she realizes.
Even more encouragement to stop her quickly. I don't reply like that, I take notes frantically. And I'll get something together, package and things with, Jajal and Mal and such to send them off, and maybe anything we wanted to write it down to them. and go from there. Maybe things that maybe we didn't want this group to know specifically, but things that maybe we want the Shari to know, and stuff like that. And then we'll plan for that trip.
So you would get the information through this. Still, Ben is the closest port to Zephyra.
Still Ben. All right. Gotta get my gray notebook here.
Is relatively close.
Nice.
Yeah.
Two still. All right. Oh, I did not. Yeah, I'll get withdrawal. Maybe I'll send a runner to send something to probably who stays in their room. Tronus doesn't go out much. Wherever Tronus is, he's probably maybe even in Temple itself. I just get him that.
Tronus doesn't even stay like in main dark though. He has like a small little camp just like right outside of town.
Well, at least we know he's always there. So
Yeah.
I'm a runner to go with. He doesn't get out much. He's not a social guy. This man doesn't know whether to tip or not. He's just tripping. But to basically that you guys would set sail in 2 days, gather what information you can here. We'll send you off with some things and a scroll to give to the Ashari, and we wish you luck. Come back less dead next time.
Come back instead next time.
Now that we kind of did do that team, and I know that maybe there is it could be longer if we feel like 2 days is not enough. We could definitely do longer. And request, ask for permission for longer time. Is there a particular point that we want to put into, or what are you guys individually thinking for upgrades?
We could also send a different team to Stillben if you wanted to.
True.
Okay, you do whatever you want. It's like reminding you of all the options. There was one other thing you wanted to look in. Was there another thing you were going to look
Yeah,
in?
the blood tome. I believe Phil had mentioned that there might be some blood tomes magic in the library as well. And I left the Tyrannus off with that note too to look into it, but I don't think he knew exactly where those were.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was something that could help us against the druids or something that could just help us in general.
Yeah, so who would be leading that search?
I would, if I guess I could go back at night with not Tyrannus, but go to Doorman.
Zanelor.
Like why just that happens? But yeah, go to Zanelor just to do some research and look into that. And maybe if I need to, use certain divinations to help us in our search, maybe the books were all written in blood, so they smell faintly of iron, and I can help track that or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll let someone do investigation with advantage.
You want me to do that, or I can do that?
It's up to you.
I'll do it.
There's a high, but also your thing.
Right. Yeah, it's fun. All right. Advantage is nice. Oh my gosh, it fell. Oh, good. That's gonna be a 22.
Okay. Okay. Going through these tomes. Again, blood magic is fairly newly written down, and it's not overly spelled, but you looking specifically, there's all types of specifically alterations that blood magic can do to spells. And from this, you would get that to accomplish what you're trying to do, as far as that you had your group had, like, could we manipulate a spell? The answer would be trying to add Hemocraft into it would be a way. Trying to specifically change it by blood, probably of the ones you're after, or using that as a component of some type. That would still need to be researched, and because it's very specific. So with some information that you already have, which is essentially kind of, who Verithia is, what she generally can do, you could begin trying to craft a spell, but it would require a good amount, or it would require some amount probably of her blood to activate it fully.
Ooh.
But you do think it is possible, and generally more spells could be changed to individuals to do certain things.
Very interesting. Makes sense. All right. Well, after I'll share that knowledge with Zamor after reading it, and he's probably off doing his own thing. And you ever thought about this? And he's like, oh, or whatever he says. And I guess I will leave the book there. I won't check it out or anything, but I'll bring that to the group as well, because I know specifically Belden had some interest in how we would go about doing that.
Yeah, I think the other thing you get from that is that the blood magic recorded here, there is actually two sources. There is one that seems to divine it from power, and it mentions this of the divine source of the Raven Queen, and another from this place Origin.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it's almost
and much of it
schools
agrees, right?
are the same.
But it's very different philosophies in the way that it's written.
Gotcha. Okay. But we have no, at least in the library, no I guess accounts or things of where this origin might be, right? It's just this thing that's almost a mythical place.
I would say with that, the most you get is that the books here are like, a lot of what here you notice is transcribed by the same hand, and the name left behind of that is like transcription by, it says Kira.
Interesting, cute name. Yeah, I'll just I just was able to find all these books, and I think with the adequate research, we might be able to tune the spell directly to Verithia with of course, some accumulation of her life force, of course. Hopefully the burgundy variety.
Sounds cheap and easy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would take time, but has anyone heard back from anyone of what's is next on our to-do list?
I was given a box with a note. I just set the box down on the table. Just no.
So, open it if Craven's occupied, and read it. And looks like they want us, or another group to possibly go to Stillborn. I think since we gathered this information, it might be prudent for us to go since we got a first-hand account. Unless you guys want to give it to some of the others. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I sent my pen flying.
And about this would be like to learn from Keyleth and like the others, or like ways to like
Yeah, so we
get
learn.
around the wild shape, or like do something against the wild shapes.
Yeah, maybe some of that. Learning more about Verithia herself, right? We still don't know where her other teacher is, right? Amandul or
Yeah.
Almondel, yeah.
Amandel.
Yeah,
So
it'd be expanding, what you know and what you you're
right,
aware.
maybe getting some more leads, so. But then again, she also said that the elemental planes are going haywire, so there
Yeah,
could also
there's
be
chaos in
other
the elemental
shit
plane.
there. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm totally down to keep with these.
I'm down for whichever group you want to send, but like, yeah, no, I'm just down for whatever group we send because we're eventually gonna loop back to 14s anyway at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
So either these, either the 11s or those really rambunctious 9s that they really know how to handle druids.
Yeah.
They did do quite the job last time.
I don't think anyone kind of cares one way or another. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where to go.
Yeah.
I think.
I like
I
both
think-
options.
I think that since the 11s, we kind of set them out to be a big exploration information group, that they would be the ones that kind of continue this. And then maybe if there was like a small contingency of druids that we found, like maybe that we can infiltrate or attack, then maybe we would send the 9s in to handle them or something.
Out of character, either one could be awesome.
Yeah,
Both sound great.
cool.
I can get behind that.
All right.
So what were we doing?
Yeah, we're gonna end up going with this group, I think, and then planning from there, possibly sending out the 9s to do something. Maybe handling some low-level droids if they need be, depending on what type of information we gather here at Stillborn and the Shari.
I guess the question is, what kind of are we sending the 11s to just go to druid school to just learn as much as we can, so it's like more of a downtime thing versus an active rolling for stuff type thing? Or
I think that's up to us, right? I mean, I'm down to role play it out. I mean, there could be, like I said, activity there. Maybe stuff that comes out of the gates that we interact with, or things like that.
You mean at the location?
Right.
Yeah.
because I know research is usually a harder thing to try to role play through. If you're like, okay, I'm trying to do a deep dive, trying to learn as much as I can on XYZ enemies.
Well, yeah. So I
Compared
mean,
to-
yeah. So like anything. I mean, this is this is D&D. So if you're like, hey, we're going to go here to research, of course there's going to be stuff, and of course there's going to be more than what it appears to be, and
Yeah.
I mean that is what the whole point, right? Oh. You're muted.
Well, you're muted.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Open question. We know all of the major cities got hit at the same time. Manure recovery was still been hit or not hit? Was it part of the problem? Like
That's not a major city.
Right. So my point is like it's a small port off the beaten path. It could be a place where we, I don't know, encounter new clues or ideas. Like other than just like it's a place worth visiting, and the druid training question mark learning more about where they're from or what they do. Like what are our expectations there? Like, what are you looking for?
Sorry,
For
what are
me,
expectations in regards to what exactly? Like my brain's not there.
I think our next destination. I think for me, my goal, right, is to learn more about Verithia. Maybe learn about where Mandela is. Learn learn from the druids their own weaknesses, and then going from there, maybe helping them with elemental plane if need be, and then making those next steps.
Okay.
I think for me, it's either do whatever quest is necessary to try to find the weakness of Verithia or the druids in general, or potentially swap to 3s or 9s and go check on Marquette potentially, because they are also allies that we have ignored in story up till this point, kind of, with be a 10, and then that like we actually had contact and they were like, oh yeah, we were hit hard, and then we kind of, we're just playing other storylines, but it's like it'd be cool to check that out.
We sent someone out. We don't know who, but we sent someone out.
We sent dignitaries, yeah. I assume.
But I mean, yeah. So, and then
I think it's really just where you want the next thing to sort of go and everything. I think that's,
I think Matt can make it happen either way, right? I think we just need to make that decision.
I think it's really. I think you still had a crew possibly trying to get to the other pirate islands. You got a lot of like little deals, and so again, bringing us back to when we began to go this approach. That was the point, so you could pick flavors.
Yeah.
That you would play. So obviously, maybe obviously, but like the Stillben one would be like you get your trip to Stillben, you get to Stillben, and then there's potentially travel to Zephyra, and then Zephyra itself. So there's a few little arc and things to do there along the way. So that is like a little deal. And again, everything being there's every location you could possibly go. There's more there that can fill in gaps or give you more ideas, and it's also kind of how you feel like trying to solve the problem, right?
So I guess is Zephyra the direction for trying to well, obviously we're saying the words, oh, we want to find weaknesses by studying more druids, but that's also when you go to the druids to ask them, hey, how do I kill you? Also super weird.
Well, yeah, and there's other ways. Like I would say, I mean, Marquette has its own thing, definitely, and you could get stuff there. I think that's. And the other thing you did learn that I just want to make sure you did get was that the League and the Druids are essentially diametrically opposed to each other.
Right. I think we've kind of learned that from the island, right?
Right. But it's just something to kind of keep in mind as far as as you're going about solving this problem, as far as every place is giving you these things, right? So this whole idea, because the League is creating order and repairing in blinks of an eye, which should take decades.
Yeah. That could be interesting.
But we also somehow think they're also tied somehow to the chaos, like by just like making like a profit off of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're making a profit off of it, but the larger thing is that they bring it back under order, but they're kind of like at the top of the order that by installing their people through businesses and the like, that now they have like a majority in decisions that are made in cities and whatnot.
Yeah, like it did seem they were increasing some of the chaos, But you got that was also because they weren't necessarily being invited in.
Gotcha. So then to make them a necessity.
Yeah, they're a little extortionists, a little bit like that's you got like they might be increasing tensions until a town might realize, but they would pick one that's already been devastated. That's the information you're getting from that one.
Got it.
And then we didn't have any further like information as to where the league was, right? Outside of, we know that they're in Nicodranus, and then like they were at the Ladies Island, but we've kind of like kicked them out.
Yeah, you just know that their main organization is throughout Taldore.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure like, we learned from Jajal's little trip with the sidekicks that they have a spot in Islecross as well, like one of those islands.
Right.
Yeah, that was Kaz's thing that they saw. There was like the connection out there with the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because Kaz is related to Jajal. We don't know how
Yeah.
distantly, but same family tree.
Yeah.
So we have Zephyra as one potential, because I don't know that we should necessarily decide tonight just because we're missing a third of the group, but we should have like maybe 3 solid ideas as to what we want, so that way they can start thinking on it also. So Zephyra's one, continuing the path of learning more about the druids and potentially how to stop them. Does anybody have like one that they're like, oh yeah, this one, this path, I'm really interested in?
I mean, I'm not really immediately interested in, but I did throw out the idea of right actually allying to some of the civilizations in the Shattered Teeth, right? Which doesn't have to be something we do. Maybe we just send out like NPCs to do that or whatever. But
I'm also okay if we want to add a category as far as treaties, and we wanted to start putting some of your points,
right.
the downtime actions. Like have a downtime action of established treaty. We could say like 3 points is a good treaty within the islands, or at least a good relationship with, that type of stuff. Maybe 5 is a trade route. Kind of throwing out some numbers here. Yeah. In other words, that could be a way to do it. So that if you guys we want to establish this, we don't want to play out everything about building a nation.
Yeah,
that's which is what the downtime actions are for. Like they're literally these things that are building up Doctor without you going, now let's build the blacksmith shop. It's like, yeah, I put a downtime action for that, right? So that's pretty much what they're there to build, kind of the Darktoe Empire, if you would want to.
I guess the question for me is like, if we build the civilization of the Shattered Teeth, what's the outcome? Like, are we looking for allies against the Isle of Night, or looking for like allies against Verithia? Like, what's the outcome?
Yeah, I think for that it's mainly for the Night, right? The against the Island of the Night.
Okay.
I just don't know how helpful they'd actually be, seeing as how avidly they avoid them.
Yeah.
Because
well, if we do downtime actions, definitely you'd get bonuses for it.
No, oh yeah, like mechanically, obviously, and like lore and stuff, but like they've acted like it that feels more like a harder sell. Like, hey, you want to be spies for us for these people you've been avoiding like the plague?
Yeah. Well, remember, there's spies and there's just pure assistance.
Yeah.
Like they might not take anything, but if it's kind of like this. But if an army comes in, will they equip the army? Will they, give certain things, find out certain stuff, get certain materials, right? So I think there's just different ways. Like they might not be people, because you're right. Like they might necessarily selling them on a war, but becoming Ireland or Sweden is not the best.
And also, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, tying 2 things together that I just realized, if Kraken is actually like a tear to the elemental plane of water, and with what Keela said in regards to the elemental planes are kind of getting thrown into chaos right now because of what Verithia is doing, that is a potential outlet where we get to physically RP going and making that established thing, maybe seeing what's going on with Kraken and his tear, and potentially ending up in the plane of water type deal.
And how long would it take for the information of one Wyatt Meros to get that is back on this or back to come here? How if information is that information that can get here?
So above table, he's in the Feywild
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
in the Feywild. We have nobody there.
No, I know,
Yeah,
I
no,
know that part.
you
But
don't.
I'm just like,
Yeah. Well,
I wonder
in this game, you did hear a rumor. So in Wednesday,
Okay.
there was a rumor. I would say there's been nothing more on that front.
okay, cool. So we don't have any leads to send another group to do something with that.
No,
So.
and I would say that would even be something that, yeah, because he hadn't given anything out. So yeah, you just mostly, basically it's gone quiet, and its ideas is, even though you've had agents near the people who may have been staying at the places, no new rumors are coming forth. There's kind of been a dead for information.
Cool. Yeah, so I think those fronts, I'm totally down to continue this like Verithia type thing, and then I think a switch to Marquette and would be good as well.
Why Marquette?
I did something that Jonathan mentioned that we did.
We have allies in Marquette.
Bien was one of the people that we had reached out to when the storms first got released, and he had let us know, they got hit hard, and they we believed that their storm actually happened before ours, before we even got news of ours.
Yeah,
and we just haven't followed up on that in game at all. So I thought it would be interesting to check that out.
That's something the Nines can do for sure, especially if there's still problems.
And then, like Matt had said, the secondary or the newer the newer pirate island that is the replacement for Darktow, since Darktow is no longer just regular pirates.
Yeah, the one off the coast
which
of
is Isilra. Yeah.
The other thing too, we had talked about, and I'm okay with going through it. We can do whatever. That is going to be fun for everybody. But originally, we had talked about how after each completion, you would go through one of the levels before you double back into another party. So you'd go you said you'd go through the batches of characters, before you'd hit that same level again. Now, but if you feel like you didn't have enough with these, that makes sense too. But it's whatever.
I feel like the Nines are miscreants in all the right ways. That could be super fun, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like if we want the perfect party to go around and if we want to mess with a pirate island or guess and stuff with the pirate island, I feel like the Nines would be the group to get to there, because they would kind of fit right in, because they are the most piratey of groups. And then if we want to send people to Marquette to just go, see what's happened over there, see if B10 and all those people are okay, or if you want to send the threes to Zephyra, then that'll be the most logical choice. Then if the Nines are the more piratey to them fit in on Pirate Island.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, could be helpful.
So we have five good options, maybe more.
Yeah, and I think the reason why we're not making a solid decision, even though I think continuing how we are, and if we do it with the, go to the Ashari Island, it's kind of a continuance of what we're already doing. But we have two other people that have their voices, right? So
yeah.
In regards to the points, were we each getting one again, or was this, since it was a shorter thing, we're just getting the one to apply?
No, you each have a downtime action.
Okay. I meant in regards to the 11 choices and loot.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Oh, because it was from at least from what I remember, it was always we could put a point there and then we have a downtime action, or was it you either do a downtime action or you put a point?
No. What it is from your adventure you earned a treasure point.
Okay.
Which you can put in. Then each of you get a downtime action. You may choose to use that downtime action to fill out the tree.
Got it. Okay. So as a group, we get the one treasure point, and then our individual downtime actions can be used to basically convert into a treasure point if we want to boost this particular thing.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
yeah. With every with the limitation of nothing can be
Yeah,
boosted
nothing. Yeah, you can't
twice
double
in the
boost it in the same adventure
downtime time.
sequence.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, like the downtime action, things like doing some of the research. That's actually how we'd handle things like if you wanted to strengthen ties between another island or another
Mhm.
thing. Someone just that way, like I don't have to make a skill thing for everything. It just makes sense. Like, oh, here's this downtime thing that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like they, and it's not even your characters really. It's you wanting
It's Dark
Dark
Toe,
Unit.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Unless you had a specific thing that you were like, oh, I want to
yeah, you
make
could. It's
this
just a
item
scenario
for
thing.
X character.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like well, you do whatever you want. The tree is just like an option thing in there. Then there's your creativity elsewhere.
Did you guys have an opinion on where the group treasure point should go?
I'm always a fan of.
There's not a research one, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, right? That's one that we could, I'm sure include or get started on, right? Somehow. But yeah, I wouldn't do that right away, just so that obviously give Matt to think about how that would work. Where is it? Is
It's
it
pinned in loot.
in loot? That's what I thought. Okay.
That's the biggest thing. Which category that you could? There we go. Okay. Yeah, because the ones I made were just what I came up with, like a pretty good.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, something like research, you could definitely get more information or whatever.
Personally, if we are doing a lot of ship combat, I don't know if that's going to happen, but moving all ships up to one maneuverability is fucking insane. just saying, but it's just
counterpoint. When the ship has a higher speed, you use more grub.
Yeah. Yes.
But
maneuverability
isn't.
That's why I was also looking at survival because.
Oh, is maneuverability and speed not the same thing?
No. Those are different things. Those are speed is the knots. Maneuverability is like how many times you have to go forward to be able to turn.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so being able to have a larger ship that still has maneuverability of 1 with all that damage potential is extremely good combat. It is a definite advantage in naval combat.
Because we have one, and that's the sailing one. So that's all ships move up 1 maneuverability. So
we need to go forward 1 to move to turn left or right. If we increased it, that means that we can just turn left or right on a dime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be extreme mobility.
I know last time I ended up putting it into loot trying to get that die down, but then I was like, damn, I wonder what would have happened with blacksmithing. Like I want to start keep putting ones that have like more or not necessarily tangible benefits, but noticeable, because like the loot's fun because it's like, ooh, do we get extra shit?
Yeah.
And we had put that initial 1 just so that way we have the chance, and then I bumped it down to 12 because I think it was like a 3% increase or something like that.
Yeah.
I think the last time we talked about this.
Yeah, because looting definitely was a diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Last time we talked about this, though, we were like, we need to put something in Ancient Dark Toe. So I will be that.
I was about to say, I want to push the big red button. I'm that guy too. I'm like, give me. I want that Call of Cthulhu shit.
Right, dude, for real.
Amazing. So who's doing Ancient Dark Toe?
You want to rock paper scissors it?
Rollies.
Let's do rollies.
Rollies.
I'm gonna roll that big D20.
I got 4.
13.
Oh.
All right. So
I'm putting my point in
Ancient Dark Toe is getting its first point.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pull the trigger, and I'm gonna put the second point into blacksmithing. So I'll use my downtime thing to put it there.
Okay. So Aiden, go ahead and just roll me another d20. For ancient dark.
3.
Table tie. Okay. Perfect.
Island gone.
The pyramid came back. Weird.
I have this inert emerald.
Oh, that's right. So some notes currently. Peaches is on the island for anyone who cares.
Oh,
Fun.
Because you gave
Oh, it's
Peaches
nice.
permission to come over.
yeah.
Yeah.
We just didn't know we just had a way to get here this quickly.
And has been spending time in the library.
Okay, this is Xandor definitely didn't have the dragon egg in the library.
Okay. So for Ancient Darkdale here, you discover let's do this as I think Xenar actually. I think as you've been going through this, what's been here, and also there is some of the ruins that have been part of Dr. Yude. There's also the stuff you found of the Raven Queen specifically as well. And you unearth a fraction or an area. This happens mostly as new construction is occurring, and Xanlar is called because of they found some weird stuff. It's previous places the planking kind of didn't have people put stuff, and what you're able to find are 3 teleportation circles that you're able to uncover that appear to be you can see the lines where there were once separate rooms, and the address of where they go is there. So one is like there's kind of a circle around it that serves as an address. You think that from what you can tell, these once were powered circles that one could just kind of go to these places whenever you wanted to, without expending energy. Now that power, wherever that was, is long gone. As far as that stuff could be some ways to repower that, but you do. So the first thing is that there's permanent circle. Technically 3 permanent circles here on Darktoe, of which you have the addresses. Then addresses to 3 unknown locations.
Ooh.
So you said the address is there for the larger one, or
For all 3.
Okay.
All 3 are there, and we have 3 unknown circles.
So there's 6 circles, or it's
There's 3 circles. Each one contains a ring. So like a circle around the teleportation circle.
Okay.
Engraved in that contains the address of where it points.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess, is there any determining factor whether we know it's on Exandria or another plane? We can't tell.
It would have to be on Exandria because
Teleportation
only goes on
plane.
plane. It would be plane shift that goes plane by plane.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Could
There is an exception you would know a teleportation circle that if there was a open planar gate that was like continually open, one could make a teleportation circle key to that then could key to somewhere in that plane.
Gotcha.
as part of like uncovering like why Zainlos brought their what do you know, like how they were powered, or like how he could bring power back to them, other than just like casting the spells within?
Yeah, I would. I mean, there's various ways people have tried to power magical items and magical things. I think that's a whole nother avenue of exploration. Such things. You heard the tales of power crystals that were in the other ruins that Plague King had. I'm saying this because I forgot that, of course, Aiden yourself, where was it in that adventure? But the other ones, there is another place where there was high-tech arcane stuff. And in that defensive system, there were power crystals. All of them have been used. And I believe they never did figure out how to make new power crystals.
That's correct, yeah. I think that was on Tunk's list. So for Ancient Darktow, does this work? Unearth 3 teleportation circles which have the address to the corresponding circle. The destinations are not named.
Correct.
So you have the address, you don't know where you're showing up.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, there is now permanent circle Darktow that anyone.
Yeah, because these 3 circles are all circles that would bring them to Darktow.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're anchored onto Darktow. Love it.
Yeah. So some people like begin theorizing that possibly like whoever this was, who was here, would give out certain addresses, and then certain people would end up in these rooms. So potentially, like what door you came out of or whatever, they'd know where you came from, and maybe even guard differently or however they would handle it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right.
It's true.
So noted.
Oh, okay. Shoot. Well, I guess I gotta choose one. Active. I'm so jealous.
What's Blacksmithing 2 do while Jalen figures out what he wants to put his thing in? We're currently at vicious weapons, cost the same as standard weapons. Unless my downtime thing can be that Darktow's starting to specifically try to make like the slaying weapons towards Ruidians, or if that makes sense.
Yeah, if you wanted to downtime try to get to make some slaying things, yeah, I would say that downtime action, we'd probably do it as we'd roll a d4, and that's how many would get produced this time.
I want to see what blacksmithing gets up to. No, I'm gonna keep it in the thing. I'm just
Keep it
gonna
in
keep it in blacksmithing.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, because downtime action to do like a one thing, and then this is like the cumulative. So the blacksmithing here. So that is the number 2 in blacksmithing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So they've been able to use more of the materials that have been coming from they originally came from things like what had been learned about from Kaljum's father and those materials. And so his knowledge is still here. He had left, but they've been able to start to harvest more of those materials. And what they get here is that any weapon that is not that is not a heavy weapon has finesse.
Cool.
Which effectively means any non-heavy weapon is two-handable.
Any what?
Finesse
Non-heavy
is
weapon.
you can use dex.
Yeah.
Strength.
Not versatile. Versatile is what you're thinking.
There we go.
Yeah, versatile is the 1 to 2 handed. Yeah.
Wait, sorry, I was looking at a different tab. So,
So
they all have
long swords, maces, anything that's basically not maul, glaives,
Mhm.
and halberds, that the pole arms and great swords, you can use dex or strength with them.
ooh fun.
Yeah. It's a nerdy mechanical, but actually very powerful. It's like fourth right of some of the other ones, but you're like, wait a minute, there's possibilities. But those are the ones that like made here, so they make a weapon here.
Yeah.
Which basically means, of course, they can be vicious and have this, right? So
Right.
it's kind of stacks on this thing.
Nice.
What you thinking, Will? Assuming you don't have an actual downtime activity that you're planning to do.
I mean, no. No expectation. I guess playing ship surgeon, there's not a way to like upgrade the ship in such a way to make healing easier or recovery easier or something. Like there's no easy bet for fulfilling that role more accurately, I guess.
I would say that type of stuff is contained under survival.
Okay.
That makes sense.
But the first one is use less scrub at sea.
Yeah.
That is in the survival tree.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that one just because like stuff like that is really useful. So if you don't want to do that one, Will, I definitely will.
I'll take it.
Damn, everyone's taking my ideas. Ugh. Well,
I'm sure it's spelled correct, but Jonathan, rulers of the sea under combat, that should be additional metal die.
oh, I was wondering, bro. I was like, oh, you got the little fucking metal die with the herbs and cheese on it.
Hey, look, I copy pasted it from a different thing because I was trying to get it into loot specifically, so that way I could pin it right at the top.
I'm sure it probably was my error originally, so it's fine. I just was like, oh, let's change that now that I'm looking
No,
at it.
I was actually interested in that. I was thinking about either doing combat or leadership, because just to see what combat 2 would look like. Since combat 1 is more sea based, would combat 2 be more land based or air based or something like that?
Is everybody here cool with putting the group treasure point into just the sailing? Since the maneuverability thing came up, and it seems very potent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Aiden. Okay, you're muted, so I didn't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you good. I forgot that was good.
Yeah, all right. And then I'll do so I'll make combat 2 then.
Okay.
So Matt, for sailing, so now it would just be all ships move up.
So basically, all ships have low maneuverability. High maneuverability.
So they don't all go down to 1, they all just go down to high?
Well, it already went down to 1 because you had a point. No, wait.
Oh, did we already have a point in sailing before?
Yeah, we had 1 point in sailing.
Okay, so then now
So this would be sailing 2, so I don't know if that changes what it was.
Right. So sailing 2 is that makes maneuverability high for all ships.
Oh man, that's sick.
So you're, and I want us to envision this because I think that's what I would say too. All ships that Darktow produces, so like things like you're given by other people, no,
right.
is the biggest thing. Because it's not like for your campaign, all things are this way. It's just that what Darktow is making at this point, and so there's a design to why that happens, and so like envision like again where like they're becoming sleeker, and even from the ships, whether they're putting in like explosives to make them turn easier, or bootleg
they're putting in
terminate things,
e-brakes and they're Tokyo drifting.
you know, or
Um,
have made like like gust of wind circles of cantrips on one side, like
Oh, that's
as they're
really
able
cool.
to move in combat. So like that's kind of the imagery here.
So only that Dark Troop produce, not necessarily as also that that whatchamacallit would produce.
So the Invisible Stalker doesn't have this, but would like the Wild Bloom.
That's one thing. What Wild Bloom produced ships also have this.
Oh, I got what you're saying. I would say yeah, ships the Wild Bloom makes, yeah.
Okay.
I think because that's sort of your engineering is very Wild Bloom based. So I think it's all kind of one thing. But the Wild Bloom itself, I'd say old ships are not upgraded.
Okay,
likely, unless you really wanted to do one. Because they have to be designed to take these additions.
Right. Makes sense.
All right, so I changed it to all ships Darktow produces have high maneuverability, including ones born of the Wild Bloom seeds.
All right, what does Combat 2 do?
Yeah. All right. So for Combat 2,
I should change day to die.
This has to do ultimately. Additional fighting styles are being developed by Darktow, and utilizing kind of the first time they've really had an army. And it's not really an army, but like no, the people who really go, we need to be able to defend. And while there isn't necessarily a standing army, again, there's this one. Darktow is a ship, is the way everyone's thinking, and so these thoughts have been putting around everybody of, what if we get attacked again? What if we need to do more now as we're together? And they've been trying to figure out like what unique things link everybody. And one is having to move very fast on a ship. When people say go, you got to go. And they've been practicing like how people do that and almost creating a type of martial art, but it's sort of very beginnings of this. And so the first thing that the Darktow training is making here is that as a bonus action, you can move your movement.
Oh, nice.
The Darktowians will get for training here. If an ability already allows you to take a dash, then you can move an additional movement with that. It doubles your speed.
Okay. So you can
if you had a class
action,
if you already
have that, it adds your movement is increased or is doubled for that movement.
Yes. Correct.
Nice.
Yeah, and the idea here is like utilizing things on the ground, like they did people like grabbing ropes and pieces of the ship to move faster, utilizing the environment to increase your speed with your arms and grabbing onto things. That is where all this comes from. Yeah, like on the ships. So that is sort of the idea of when using this, we go like, what's around me that I can pull on?
Sick.
Be like Wonder Woman, carry a lasso with me at all times. Just start freaking swinging myself everywhere.
Yeah, so I'd say it probably wouldn't apply to things like swim or fly because that gets a little weird, but probably like
right. For sure. Walking speed only, is no flies or swings.
Yeah, but again, very definitely that's a lot of movement that you can go around the battlefield with.
Well, I'll just add while walking. So more regimented training has been brought to Darktow. has created a new movement technique. While walking, you can dash as a bonus action. If you have an ability that grants you this ability, your speed is doubled when you take this action.
Word.
Yeah, of course. I mean, just for clarification, things like Step of the Wind would not activate the double type of deal,
Right.
right? Like things you have to activate to get that extra bonus. It would have to be one of the things you just can do.
Right. Like, I see what you're saying. What
so
are you?
just taking like the dash action, like if it's like your actual action would do it. So
The
like
things
no
that
step
just
to win.
so yeah, I think specifically where you could just use a bonus action to get a dash action.
Right, like rogues or like monks. Some monks, right? Like they can.
Well, no, he's saying that
Because
Step
Step of the Wind
of
takes
the
a
Wind
key
doesn't.
point, right?
Yeah,
Step them into key point, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that
which
would
I
be-
think is stupid because rogues get to do it for free.
Yeah.
Right.
The only thing from monks that should take the key point, I think, is the dodge, because that one's actually unique and very potent.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
The dashing as a bonus action shouldn't have
yeah.
ever
Because the
taken.
benefit it gives the monk is basically, you don't need a key to.
Key dude. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas
Also, Step of the Wind like doubles your jump distance too. So
Yeah.
Who jumping over the place?
But yeah, how often do you see a strength-based monk besides me on Monday?
yeah, but it's more for like rogues. There's a few other classes that get it, but yeah.
Yeah. There is.
I think there's like specific subclasses for other
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
that
certain
grant it.
Right.
Very cool.
what's really funny though is that Zanelord doesn't know teleportation circle, because I specifically didn't take that.
Because you didn't. He was brand new to the.
No, because I was like, then there's a reason for him to like not be on the island.
Oh.
He could just get back to Rosana.
Yeah, the whole idea was
Yeah.
So he doesn't have teleport either.
he
then.
didn't have a way home.
Yeah.
He really was just like, yeah, no one can give me a ride. So what do you need?
Yeah. And it's
Well,
like landlocked. Ships don't have legs. I'm here. Oh, I'm on the
Yes,
council
nicely.
now.
That's wild.
What's
Yeah.
so funny is if you could learn teleportation circle, but your locations could be the ones that you just discovered. You don't
Yeah.
have Roshana.
Yeah, I don't have Rosana.
You
No.
can take it now, and then but you get those two.
Yeah. Belden has teleportation circle, right?
And can come home, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so that's everybody here. I'll ping the other two just in
Yeah.
the thing. Hey,
Yeah,
So
so that was the
I
first time
wrote
we
down
even
what
had
we have.
anyone able to come, because we haven't had teleportation circles before for Dark Toe. So that is
Yeah.
a big thing that you were able to push through.
so that's the what everybody did for this, and then I already updated the actual thingamajig, the table.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's finalize some options so that way these guys have a better idea as to what to think. Stilben and Zephyra. The back to the Shattered Teeth to potentially do something with the Water Ashari. And that could potentially lead to the elemental plane of water. Pirates on Isilra or west of Isilra, and Marquette. Are those the four we want to be like thinking about doing?
Yeah. I'm cool.
Marquette, by the way, means Beatin, right?
Yeah.
And for me, if I had an immediate decision, it would be to take the 11s to continue on to Zephyr. And my second would be 9s to Beatin. Just because I definitely remember fucking casting Ascending to him and him coughing up blood and shit.
Yeah. that was the same memory that I was like, we never checked in after that.
So if we send the 9s to Marquette to be a 10, it's not terribly much further to go send them past that to New Pirate Island off of Silra.
Correct. We could kind of do a one or two thing for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I put that into general and tag just Wednesday Wild Mount for people to be able to look at. So you're specifically, Jalen, 11s to Zephyra to learn about the druids and 9s to Marquette.
Yeah, I mean, like if we do send the 3s there, they wouldn't be that useful in combat. I mean, they could definitely gather knowledge, but it's just like just a big slowdown from what we're used to.
So I guess besides checking on be a 10, what's the, or I guess this might be a question more for Matt. What could we potentially be doing in Marquette if we were to take the 3s there?
Well, I mean, obviously things. I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna scale it differently based on which things we do. But like, what besides checking specifically on this one NPC who is a friend of a friend,
Right?
Who's the brother of a friend.
So what are those things? Yeah, I mean, there's. I would say, yeah. There would be. I'm trying. Okay. Got to give the pitch. So
let me just wedge in like
go ahead.
So the issues with Marquette so far, at least in terms of the treaty building with Darktoe, has been ownership of the skyways and like
That's
this idea that
right.
like they have a
the
complete
sky
lock
ships.
on Brimstone, and therefore like they're the only controllers of who does and doesn't get like
That was the first thing on my mind.
It was Brumstone, right, with a U.
It is with a U. It's Broomstone.
Yeah,
Broomstone. Broom, like flying broom. Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just because I was thinking devils as soon as you said brimstone, I was like, wait, I think that's right.
So they have a strategic hold on this resource and
Right.
control of the air, apparently. And that's by itself curious to Darktoe.
Yeah, right. For sure. Yeah, that's like the immediate thing I thought about is besides that, like, how could we get into the air business?
Yeah. And then there's
Fly
always, if you share intelligence, they might know things in Marquette. This potential information might be more available at Marquette or more knowable than elsewhere. Right? Just like this idea with you as a common person, how do airships work? Other Marquette. Oh, Brimstone. Right? In the same fashion, there could be other things that, people might have access to. Things like that. So
I do like that as another focus point for Marquette, other than just check on B10.
yeah, like trying to go that way, which I think is helpful for me. Like, what are the things that could help with that and secure it? So,
and I mean, we can also go there, right, and look into information of what people have on, weaknesses on vampires and druids, right? That's another, they could have more different information than what might be on Teldori.
Correct.
All right, so that gives us 4 options to think on. I guess we can talk about it more in Discord over the coming week and get input from Ryan and Steven as to which of them they're leaning towards, and then we can try and filter it down as people are like, oh, if like 3 or if like multiple people are like, oh yeah, this one I'm more interested in versus another one, we can kind of just filter them out.
Yeah, remember. Yeah, so I think there in Ward Anver, there should be you click. There should be a bigger Marquette map.
Yes.
Cool.
A lot of desert in Marquette.
Maybe a copper dragon or two.
A what?
Copper dragon.
Still looking for one, eh?
Yeah, because your thing goes to Chamel, basically.
That's a long trip.
We should order an airship. Oh, yeah.
Wait, did we confuse ourselves as to where the other pirate island is? Is it Visa Isle or is it actually an island off of Isilra?
West of Isilra.
So if you go to the Asura map,
Oh, is there a separate Isilra map?
yeah, there's a separate Marquette map.
Oh, wait, in World Anvil?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, as I went over there, now it's become more of a necessity.
I was saying,
Since
I
I've started to
remember-
use it, it's where everything's being kept. So
Yeah.
Real quick, where's
That's
the
what
link to the
I-
world?
I had. Oh, I've never seen this before because I just have the big Exandria map bookmarked. Got it. Okay.
Jesus H.
oh, you haven't been looking at mine?
Nope. Well, no. I have your just Exandria map, but I have that one bookmarked. So,
Okay.
so
yeah.
I haven't looked at any of the individual
Oh, maps. Yeah.
individual continent maps. Okay. Cool. So wait, are they where Azok, Charlie landing, and Esme and friends landing, or is it Grindel?
Western Edge. I think it was Lena Stronghold or Aquis.
Yeah.
Far Western Edge.
It would have been the Linus stronghold.
There we go.
Okay,
Yeah, from the Bay of the Dead Kings.
yeah, I see it.
A long way.
Yeah, it has been fun looking over World Advert as I kept on using it. Has been marking campaign things to see where everybody's been. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Can we go back to Luxon's Breach?
No.
That we just skipped right on by.
Yeah, I was like, here's this cool area. Let's go.
Oh Christ!
Was that the place that you guys were afraid of?
That's
That's
the place that had the 5 miles of like bloody sea creatures around it.
yeah. That's above table. That's where like
I
the
wanted to
breach
go.
was.
But we were just like, no, we're
Not
going to
that
the
place.
Ladies' Island. Let's go. Just right on by. That was so amusing. I was like, because we skipped an underwater exploration thing, and then we skipped Luxon's Breach.
Yep. Where's
We
the
were like-
World Anvil link again, by the way? I'm not finding it.
I'll
We
send
were
it.
like, plot hooks, what are those?
it's fine.
We've got our one that we're chasing down like bloodhounds.
We learned a lesson from the 5s. We're just going. Awesome. I'm going to
Yeah,
bookmark this.
Yeah.
I need to bookmark this one. That way I can actually come back to these. Because I just have the big Exandria map one.
Yeah. I mean, if you click on the markers, you go right to them, right?
I don't know.
That's how it should operate.
Oh, so, okay. I've literally never clicked them. I've only ever highlighted them.
So if you click
And
the
then-
one by Marquette, you should be able to get the Marquette map. Same one with Usira, same one with Necrodranus.
If I then hit open map, yes. Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
that's
and then there's one for
I've-
Rishana.
I just didn't know that was a thing. I've just been highlighting things to see what you'd mark them as. I was like, Nicodranus, heavily visited city. Yeah, that makes sense. I've been there. Because I've never really used World Anvil before outside of you, and so I was like, oh, this one, yeah, this is great. I can see the markers of where we've been going.
It's precious, to be honest.
Not as precious as you commenting on Facebook.
Thank you. I'm never doing that again. It's going to be another 5 years.
Oh man. All right. Well, we've got lots to think about, gang.
Yeah.
I do like that. I like that touch of on the Broomstone Wall a lot. Like, oh hey, well, maybe we can look into why it's so hotly guarded and
I mean,
why
we're
it's
still
why
spies,
it's such
right?
a like big point for them. And then like the only other port city, because like in the Empire they banned the airships because they were like, oh, we could be attacked.
Mhm.
But so Port Damali is like the only place that they're allowed to actually park there or dock or whatever. So I wonder if do we know if Taldore or Asilra have like airships? Like we know Marquette's the primary one that has the most, but like they were real like, hey, you need to give up your airships.
Yeah, I
when
mean,
we were
so
negotiating.
no one has airships except Marquette,
Oh,
but people do have skyports.
yeah.
So skyports, but yeah, no one has airship technology in Exandria except Marquette, from what people know.
Okay.
You did learn, well, you would have been able to learn, yeah, that I have to relook at my notes, but I can't look at it right now.
Yeah.
There's an
Mom has
organization. There's an organization that in there that keeps that, like they send out like strike teams, like they go
Oh.
negotiation or strike team to take out or buy. Sometimes they buy, so that they keep a lock.
Yeah, they're keeping the monopoly.
Yeah, so like they go through great efforts to not allow other flying craft to be around. Some of that is like, hey, turn this over, or our alliance will be in jeopardy as far as nations. And having the shipping of Marquette, they can increase tariffs. So some of it is more, not violent, but it is like we keep it.
Is Jamon Soward actually a bad guy in the Balo verse?
He's just a businessman, and you can do with that what you want.
Where'd you get the Marquette map from?
Someone made a bunch of DMs there's this group that's Exandria DMs.
Oh, okay.
People make a lot of assets for it, and
Cool.
so I'm a part of the Discord people, and so someone made a cool Marquette one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I saw the Hellcatch Valley. I was like, hey, I remember that from Campaign 3. And Bosphorus.
yeah. So that's how it's been filled out, because
Yeah.
people have just been like, oh, they went a new place. Excellent.
Oh, man. Well, I got nothing else until we make an actual decision.
Yeah. So given the time, you want to wait till some of the other,
Yeah.
or you want to
Yeah.
Discord it or whatever. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Things done. Points spent. You figure out all the ways to go. All right. And with that, I'm watching. You got us to go through a point spend expenditure in the last bit. But thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week.